All right, now we have a new chapter of Dr. Stone. The last one ended in a very spooky, spooky way, in a way that led me down a long tangent about aliens, where they finally got their oil. They finally made their first oil-powered vehicle, a little outboard motor boat, which they took way out into the ocean, so far away that it started freaking Chrome out a little bit. Understandable. And then a signal came in, picking up another Morse code signal of someone just spamming over and over and over again, deliberately trying to reach them in response to hearing their signal. Why? Why? Why what? I would imagine why is everyone petrified? Um, I would think that probably everyone besides Senkyu, and who has the most focused cheat code level scientific intelligence in the world. Everyone else is probably in the grip of despair if they're conscious and they're just walking around this dead civilization, likely alone, looking at the permanently frozen faces of all their family members. Now, it takes some cleverness to find and repair or find a functioning radio antenna, but I wouldn't reasonably expect anyone else to figure out like depetrification formula, to have advanced society to this level, to be living in comfort and prosperity, yada yada yada. I would think the stone world for nearly anyone else who happens to be depetrified is terrible. It is a place of endless misery, confusion, loneliness, and outright despair. So I think this is a pretty appropriate thing to be begging from anyone else you possibly can be in contact with. Why the hell is this happening? So Chrome is shouting, and Senkyu calmly says, "Hey." Back into the mic, he says, "Hey, it's you, right?" Oh. Oh, whoa. Senkyu makes an assumption here that in retrospect is actually a very reason. Well, oh no, is it? It's a pretty crazy thing he's accusing him of. So his logic is this guy's still awake. This guy isn't petrified. So if there is like an agent behind the petrification, they wouldn't petrify themselves. And therefore, it's likely. But like, listen to what that means, my lad. You're claiming this guy has been alive for 3,700 years. Unless you think this is some multi-generational scheme, unless you think this is some robot, unless you think this is just a pre-recorded message that somehow has been triggered to send out. How could it possibly be the actual mastermind behind the petrification? And yet, I hesitate to disagree with Senkyu. He's usually right. He's usually right about these things. Okay, we have a very cute picture of Asuka riding on her new pet pig over the wide and varied world. This mystery person talking to us, perhaps far beyond the sea, exists another group of survivors like us. So that's our greeting. Barrage of whys. Seem to be questioning what we're doing. The Kingdom of Science Tactics Chamber has been built. That's very hype. I love this little shot of everyone up among Tsukasa's old little empire, popping out of their holes and having conversations. It's just so cozy. It's just so wonderfully cozy. So the Tactics Chamber in full effect. How are they going to solve this one? Leave this to Senkyu and those guys what we do. We can't. There's still work to be done. All right. Too many cooks spoil the broth. Leave the strategizing to those in the Tactics Chamber. The sharpest minds in the kingdom are 5 wise commanders. Dude's still out on Chrome, though. Well, Chrome is very clever. Chrome has a very good intuitive sense of what to do in many situations. I think he deserves a seat at the table. Or the five wise commanders. All right, all right, all right. Certainly a pretty wide range of personality and types of intelligence here. So let's see. Let's see how they break it down. Out of nowhere one day, a mysterious blast of light covered the earth, turned humanity to stone. And civilization at the time possessed no science capable of such a thing, of course. Sam Senki willed himself to break out of the stone about 3,700 years had passed. Why man is behind it all? Yeah, there's no way this guy straight up survived for 3,700 years. Meaning it's possible he petrified himself too. Ooh, okay, okay. He deliberately petrified himself, and then by coincidence, he happened to depetrify in the same time span as Senkyu. Seems unlikely. More likely either there was some limit to the petrification, that Senkyu's intelligence burning through the rock in what you could loosely call an application of E equals MC squared. I love that idea. I'm not sure if it totally makes sense to me, but sure. That somehow it just takes, because Taiju came out around the same time too, so we have some evidence that the two people whom we know so far are capable of willing themselves out of petrification took around the same amount of time. So is it just that it took that long for our petrifier as well? Or did he deliberately have some sort of mechanism set up that when he detected other people depetrified, he would depetrify himself too? But then what would it be checking for that wouldn't already be triggered by the astronauts coming down and starting Ishigawa Village and all of that stuff? Namin. So that's kind of interesting. And if it's just somebody who's been petrified, why are they then assuming that it's the guy who's behind the petrification? Why can't it just be somebody like Senkyu or Taiju who just popped out of their own volition out of love or extreme nerdiness? The two things that'll get you out of the stone. Snapped earlier. Well, do we even know this Y-Man is an enemy? Would he be our ally? Being an enemy is the only presumption we really need to consider. Ah, okay. Yeah, that's smart. That's smart. Tactics. I talked before that I kind of have a theory, just because it's a little subversive and because it would be kind of a cool twist, that the petrification was actually like benevolent. That something much, much worse was going to hit the Earth, and the petrification saved us from that. But the timing of it would have to be pretty tight, the disaster following the petrification, because of course our astronauts came down and survived only like less than a year after the petrification wave. So I'm not sure about that one. Unless it's like, why did you depetrify? The danger is still coming. Everyone should still be in their little rock cocoons. I'll free everyone once it's over. We still haven't even dealt with it. But then why would you do it 3,700 years plus beforehand? I don't know. Alright, well, we just gotta keep moving on. Soon as no friendly force, consider the fact that they completely ignored dear Senkyu's provocation. Chain of Whys and Morse code ended there, and we received no additional support. Response. This unknown entity. Where are they? How will they come at us? As an unseen enemy, we're in a tight spot. Senkyu is excited by this. Bingo, he shouts. This makes things simple. Just gotta see this unseen enemy with the eye of science. What? What in the world are they doing? Gonna see the enemy with the eye of science. So I can only imagine this has to do with detecting where the source of the Morse code signal came from. But I don't really understand how you're supposed to do that with an Erlenmeyer flask. And Senkyu seems to be carrying charcoal or something. Couldn't you do it just through like selective isolation of your receiver? Except that he's not sending out any messages anymore. So yeah, I don't get it. What's the plan? What's the plan? Some general edges, the sulfurite, smash it into powder. This is the power team's contribution. Sure, sure, sure. Gorilla, gorilla is the power team's cheer. Dissolve in the water, toss it in the flasks, let it stick to the bottom. We've got fluorescent paint. Party trick. Oh, the next part's an old trick. I totally misread that. I thought it was like next part's a party trick. Cinch. Here's what this is supposed to do. It's an electron beam. Okay. Okay. But why? Press the paint at the bottom of the flask, lights up the particles hit. The rebirth of the display. Ooh, okay, alright, that's pretty cool. Alright, so yeah, it's a cathode ray tube, right? This is how a TV works, basically. So the TV is being fed like information, like a signal, which it translates into a series of rays that hit the screen. Whereas this is fueled by just what the kind of pseudo fiber optic cables are looking at, I guess. Damn, Senkyu, you going crazy. Senkyu's finally snapped. Yeah, yeah, I was just about to say. I think, I don't know, man. What are you even making right now? This is why by shifting it around we create an image. The right speed, left to right, top to bottom. Good old CRTs. Good old CRTs. Got one right there. Oh, that's a good sound. A nice hollow sound. How exactly? How do we move the beam at just the right speed, like you said? Ah, power of a magic stone, the crystal. And this, of course, is talking about your crystals that resonate at a certain frequency, that once you jolt them with something with a known frequency, then the crystal vibrates and creates a timing. And we still use this in computers and in our microist microprocessors. There's often still a little piece of quartz usually, I think. It's just vibrating the whole time. Isn't that crazy? Sometimes it just blows my mind that that's like an essential part of a computer, is the vibrating rock. So I think that's what they're going to do here. The crystal, it will vibrate at such a way that it controls. This is crazy. I love that the tactical discussion, by the way, lasted like maybe 5 minutes. They got as far as like, yeah, we don't really know who this guy is, but I mean, I guess we can start planning. And Senkyu's like, no, we know who this guy is. No, shut up. I'm making a TV. Shut up. We got the TV going. Come on. Erlenmeyer Flask, hit me. And then they're just off doing this. I mean, maybe that should be like the 4 wise commanders, and then Senkyu is busy. Because I feel like there's still so much planning they could do, so many eventualities they could consider, and possibilities and hypotheses. But no, let's just build a TV. Inside a crystal, there's serious magic power to be found. Shoot some voltage through this crystal plate to make it vibrate at just the right tempo. Super duper precise vibrations reveal the crystal's shapely electric waves almost like magic. We'll sandwich out 2 crystal plates. Electron beam will curve, forming a nice straight line. Ah, so far he's just got like the otheloscope. Is that what it's called? A stelloscope? Otheloscope? Alright, cool. This is like advancing pretty fast. Now we're getting into modern display technology. Alright, cool. Alright. It's like a crystal TV. Those are bad. Stainless stone so the laws of Mother Nature work in mysterious ways. Oh, I like that Riri came to hang out for this one. She's pretty fascinated by this stuff. She has kind of a poetic sensibility about these things. With those laws to our advantage, that's what we call science. So we got some vertical cubes. Reach our radio antenna to a crystal sandwich tilted vertically. Ah. Okay, so now the radio antenna is modulating the crystals based on the radio signals it's picking up. So this translates your frequency into a varying thing. So okay, so it's like the first ray gun is going really quickly, right? And that's because the crystals are resonating based on just the cyclic nature of electricity. And so they have a period where it's shifting this way and then shifting this way, and then the gun is firing back and forth, right? And then the radio one, instead of being powered by electricity, it's modulating based on the radio signals that it gets up and down. So the gun, instead of just going is going like right, and then that of course gives you a visual representation of things that are transmitted through sound. And that's like the really old, like oscilloscope sort of thing you see where it's like a flat line when it's silent and then it goes when people are talking. You can get that as like a visualizer in any media program. Oh, excuse me. But if they're not getting a signal anymore, I mean, first off, they're not getting a signal anymore, so how can they even do about it? But once they do get a signal, how does this necessarily help? This isn't really any additional useful information, no? No? Well, probably yes, but we'll find out why. Seen enemy, the eye of science, it's radar! Ah! They've made radar, okay. Changing our input from antenna to mic. It's sonar for underwater use. GPS, radar, sonar, full-fledged electric. Mankind's greatest weapon has always been communication. Yeah, I remember that one. That one was super hype. When we realized that the key to winning the war was the telephone. That was pretty sweet. Okay, but... Okay, now I guess I get it. I think I totally get it. Because you can send out pulses that will reverberate, such as you can map out areas using the sonar, I guess. I don't know. Maybe they'll explain it a little more. Pull the curtain back on you. Why, man? No matter if you're up on the land, up in the sky, or down in the sea. Wonder why, when we started to move forward, you asked why before anything else. Something to do with this mysterious petrification, right? Ooh. Okay. This is a cool spread. Check out spread mode briefly, just to get the impact. The quality of these digital scans is just so fantastic. I'm really glad I switched to this site. Shoutouts to all of you who suggested it. Even though I have to read it like 3 days later, like I'm some actual Japanese person. Okay. So, something's down there underwater. A whole lot of something. For this. Ooh, fish. It's time to fish. Nice. So after a chapter that was very eerie and then a huge blitz of scientific information, we get a nice finale, which is fish. Hauling in a big pile. Nice. Alright, so good chapter. I feel like they kind of glossed over one step, which is the difference between having having a antenna that picks up other radio waves and then having sonar and radar, which is similar. Like, it's like you send out the beam and then you see how it reflects and refracts and stuff, and that'll, when it comes back, it'll modulate. And that's why, the radar is always like, or the sonar is always like, boom, boom. And sonar is like sound based. And you're waiting for the echo to come back to detect things. So, it's like the same principle, I guess. But when they're like, this is the seafloor, how is it hitting like a slice? Like that it's hitting like this, Because shouldn't it be like this? But then they only have like one dimension of modulation. So I don't get it. But whatever. I get the significance of it, and it's hype as hell that they caught all this fish. So that's fun. That's fun. All right, we will eagerly look forward to the next chapter. The mysteries are starting to compound. I'd like to see a little more strategic discussion in the future of why man is up to and what his further intentions might be. Just because I think it could start touching on some interesting viewpoints and stuff too. Like if we think of the motivation of all of our characters, Tsukasa, Senkyu, um, Spear Guy, Hyoga. Not only is there kind of logistical conflicts, but there's real ideological conflicts in the heart of those people. So to start trying to apply that perspective to potentially the agent of the petrification and why they did it, that could lead to some very interesting discussion too. So I don't know. We'll get there eventually, but only after Senkyu runs out of things that he can invent. We'll see. Okay, that's all for now. Bye bye.